All right, so I just want to come on here and just tell you guys a quick story on how God has impacted me significantly, and how faith actually plays a big part of your whole journey. And you must have faith in the journey. You must enjoy the process. You must find fulfillment even when you ain't got the byproducts, right? Everybody thinks, success is the byproduct. Success is having the car, having the house, having this and that, right? I'm going to tell you, success isn't any of that. Success is within. Success is fulfillment and happiness. How happy are you, right? That is success. If you would have asked me this a month ago, I would have told you success is having the Lambo, having the nice cars, having the nice house, having $30,000, $400,000 months every freaking month. Like, that's what I thought success was, right? Because on paper, everything looks good. The byproducts look good. That new Louis Vuitton belt, that new Rolex looks good, right? But those are just byproducts with what you create, what you build, the people you help, things of that nature. Those are just byproducts, and you must look at it only as byproducts, right? Because right now, what a lot of people are doing, right, you might feel it too, is they're comparing themselves to people that they see on the internet, right? They see this person with a Lamborghini. Now they think, I don't got it. I don't got it. I don't got it. Now they feel lack, because that person that they're comparing themselves to is the same age as them, but they don't have it yet, right? So they're like, he has it, but why don't I have it? And lack, when you feel lack and you're not appreciative of the things that you do, right, that you do have, like if you got a car, if you got a roof over your head, things like that, when you're not appreciative of the small things that you do have, God looks at that and he's like, why should I give you something when you're not grateful of the things that I gave you, the things that you do have, right? And, I wasn't looking at it like that, right? At first, it was just me looking at it like, I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. And when you feel lack, right, you're constantly like, those things that you don't have are running as fast as possible away from you, right? So it's always good to stay grounded and appreciative of the things that you do have. I'm going to tell you guys an example of what I was doing, right? So I was just focused on, I need to make $10,000 a month with my business. I need this with my business. And truth be told, right, me focused in, I'm not saying that like that, but I'm saying like me constantly, like, I need this, made it run from me, right? It made me not take action, right? It made more fear build up, right? It made me procrastinate because I'm like, I need it. And I'm constantly looking at the shiny objects, right? They call it shiny object syndrome for a reason, right? When you're constantly looking at the shiny objects, you might see somebody else with all those things that you have, right? And then you drop down everything that you're doing right now to go do what they're doing. And it's a cycle that doesn't stop, right? It's just going to keep repeating, right? Because guess what? All you care about is the byproducts, right? That does not matter. Let me tell you guys, you behind the screen, the byproduct does not matter. What matters is the person you become throughout the whole journey. Because guess what? When you get everything, you know that feeling when you ask your mom, your dad for something that you really wanted on Christmas and you get it and then you play with it for a week and then after a week it's just normal? That's the same thing that's going to happen with success, right? We all think, whenever I make the millions of dollars, I'm going to be happy. No, you have to be happy now, right? In order to even feel the fulfillment when you do get it, right? And like I said, I wanted to tell you guys a story, right? So last year, May, so it's been about 10 months now. Well, yeah, it's been about 10 months since I graduated, right? And, I wasn't really succeeding with my business. I kept showing, I'm like, I'm gonna make $10,000 a month. I'm documenting my journey for $10,000 a month. And when it came to me documenting it, I didn't show anything, right? I procrastinated. I gave myself that dopamine of, oh yeah, I'm about to make $10,000 a month. I'm gonna share it with everybody and let them know I'm gonna make $10,000 a month. But that's dopamine, and that dopamine makes you not take the action because you already think that you already did it, or you already have that fulfillment and that satisfaction by just saying it out loud to everybody and letting everybody know, right? Which causes you not to take the action. So for a while, you know, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna make this money. I'm gonna start this business whenever I want to. Kept pushing it off. Summer comes, you know, I'm making money from different like side hustles, reselling things and like that, but I wasn't really making I wasn't making that much revenue. So I'm, you know, constantly like, dang, I need to hurry up and make this work. So I'm going to this dealership and I'm, you know, doing videos for them for free, right? And, you know, it was great. But then that led me to just thinking outside the box, like, oh, I need to make $10,000 a month. So that mindset came back to me and I'm like, what better way than just becoming a car salesman, right? What better way than just becoming a car salesman? So I become a freaking car salesman, and I tell the world once again, right? When you tell people, you already feel like you already have it, right? In reality, you don't, right? So I tell them, I'm like, I'm going to make it my goal to be the best car salesman. In reality, I don't even know if I like car salesmen, right? How do I know I like being a car salesman? I didn't even start the job and I said that. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know if you would even enjoy it. And, you know, whenever I got this interview to work at this dealership, they're like, are you sure you want to, my hungry ass, you know, I got bribed by the money. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be making 6 figures. I need to do it, this and that. But what you give up is something that they don't show you. That's something they don't tell you, right? So when your only worry is the money, right? You don't look at the other things behind it, right? How do you know if you're going to actually enjoy it? How do you know if you're building a business that you're going to enjoy? How do you know you're going to be happy with what you're building, right? Things like this. These are questions that you need to ask yourself right now, right? Don't wait till you build the $1 million business to be like, is this even something I enjoy? Is this even my purpose? Like, is this what God's called me to do? Like, don't wait till then. Do it now. Like, figure that out now. That should be like the number one thing that you figure out. And I feel like oftentimes when you're just focused and caught up on the money, you would just do things just because, oh, I'm gonna make more money. It makes sense, right? All money's not good money, right? All money is not good money. So I start this dealership, right? I was at the interview process. So I'm getting interviewed and they're like, you sure? You're young. Are you ready for the sacrifices that come with it? Right? And I'm like, yes. And then they're like, they don't take me serious. So they're like, well, okay. Go ask random people at the hotel what's their favorite car and why. So that's what I did. And I came back, sent them the video, and, you know, it was just me asking people questions. So they wanted to really test me to see if I was even capable of doing that. And I'm like, man, you know what? Like, it was a trigger in me. It was like, fuck, all right, I gotta prove them wrong. And that prove them wrong mentality, I promise you, like, it's dangerous. It's super dangerous, right? It could be dangerous in a good way, but also dangerous in a bad way, you know, because then you're not living for yourself. You're living to prove other people wrong. But then again, when you're trying to prove people wrong, it's like a chip on your shoulder that's so strong that makes you do anything, right? It makes you relentless. But then again, as that sounds, that could be like, that sounds dangerous, right? That can, it sounds dangerous. So that's what I had. I had a chip on my shoulder to prove these people wrong. And I'm like, yeah, I need to make this money, this and that. And, a month goes by. I start the job. Everything's great. I'm getting trained. They're teaching me the ropes, everything with the car business. And, I really wanted to learn sales, right? That was my initial thing, is to learn how to sell. But it's hard to sell when you don't enjoy the product, or you don't have, like, you're not willing to learn the product, And then I'm like, yo, okay. After a while, they switch me to a different dealership. So it's the same company, just a different dealership. Meaning I lost all my friends that I came into training with, because I ain't gonna lie, the people I came to training with, they were cool as hell. Shout out to them. Shout out my guy Eddie. Shout out Ezra. Well, he wasn't in our training, but that was my dog Ezra. Abram. Shout out Joey. Shout out Cadence. Shout out Leslie. Shout out Jose. Who else? Yeah, shout out them. Those were my peoples. Like, I love them. But then we all got separated. Well, they separated me from them. So I had to go to a different dealership. So just imagine, you meet all these cool people. You're like, yo, we work best friends. We friends. We all talk. We help each other. We got each other's back. We all in this together. And then you get separated to another dealership, right? In this dealership, they don't treat you the same as the other one, even though it's the same company, Shout out the company too. I don't have no problems with the company. I don't have no problems with anybody that was there. It's just like, it's the whole core policy of the change. I don't know. I didn't really like the change, because I'm like, dang, I was just with my friends. Now I gotta make new friends, and yeah, things like that. And the energy was different. Like, it's different. It's two different frequencies, two different energies. And so I'm just there, and I know I'm gonna get to God soon, right? This is just, I need y'all to just envision this. I need you to envision what I'm talking about, right? So I get to the second dealership. The manager that moved me from there to this dealership, he was cool, shout out him, but I didn't really like that move, I just went with it because I'm like, yo, what else is there to do, but I feel like it was because I was behind, right? When it comes to learning, I don't pick up things like this. Like, I have to do it. Like, I have to do it enough, like, in real time. Like, I can't just, like, practice scripts. Like, that shit felt fake to me, Like, that didn't feel like me. Like, practicing scripts, reading from the book, things like, I'm me. Like, I have to be me. I have to be real. I have to talk to the customer like I'm talking to you guys right now. Like, I have to actually sit down with them and let them know I'm not trying to screw nobody over. I want, like, I'm not saying the company was, but I'm just saying, like, I have to really, like, talk to people how, like, I just have to talk to you. Like, I have to have a one-on-one conversation and, do the full reps, do the full process to fully get it. Like, I was messing up on a couple steps, so I feel like that's probably what happened. But yeah, so after a while, I'm still working, and they transfer me, and I meet the new staff. Some people were cool, some people, they weren't really as welcoming, but that's just how it is. But time goes by, and I start to really, like, see me lose myself within this whole, like, thing of me trying to, like, do this $10,000 a month challenge. And I start to see set car sales for how it really is. Like, I ain't gonna lie, shout out everybody in the car sales industry, right? That shit tough, right? You working 12, like, bro, you're working from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day, and Saturdays you gotta work. That's the bread and butter day. Like, you must work on a Saturday. And you know, you get one day off during the week, and then you get one day off on like a Sunday. Like that too was like, dang, okay, I only get one day off during the week and one day off through Sunday. And with the content, like with what I do, right, especially now YouTube, Saturdays are bread and butter. Like that's the day where you can get the best content, the best videos. And you know, it took up a lot of time. I probably was working 55 hours a week, and at the time, since I was still in training, I only was getting paid $3,000 a month. So when you really do that calculation, that's like minimum wage, like almost a no. Actually, McDonald's made more than what I was making. So I was like, damn, I'm spending all this time for this, and I probably wouldn't do this for the rest of my life. You know, it was like, damn, I definitely wouldn't do this for the rest of my life. That's what I said to myself. And I'm like, okay, yeah, something has to change. So one night, you know, I'm sitting in my bed, laying down in my bed, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, damn, because I had weighed myself that day. I remember I had weighed myself that day, and it said I lost, what, like 10, 15 pounds? And I've only been at the job for about 3 months now, 2 months now? 2 months. Yeah, it was about 2 months, August to October. I quit November 2nd or some shit. And I started like August 18th. So yeah, it wasn't even that long. I was there, and if you guys know, the car industry is a high churn rate. You know, people quit like this. People get fired like this. You know, different things like that. But yeah, so I'm like, damn, right? I lost this much weight and it's only been this long. I'm like, damn, what the hell? So I then, and then I started looking at the lifestyles of other like salespeople, like even the top people. I'm like, yeah, it's not the lifestyle I want, right? Like, I know what I want, and I really dream of financial freedom. And I know, like, yo, in the car, like, especially with that, like, you can definitely become financially free in the car industry if you become like just a CEO, if you own your own dealership. Like, it's good to learn the industry by working in the industry for a while, and then working your way up at different dealerships, so that way you can understand the operation, all of this stuff. But anyways, so I then I'm sitting in my bed, I'm just thinking about life, and I'm like, damn, this wasn't what I planned on doing. And that night, this probably was like October 27th. That night, I prayed, right? I'm like, God, if this no longer serves me, please give me a sign. Show me the way. Show me what I should be doing. Show me what it is that you need from me, right? And then, you know, I'm like, okay, God, thank you. And 2 days later, right, God answered everything, right? So this was so random, and this is why I believe God sends his people to you. God sent somebody to me. There was this dude, I remember his name, Justin. This was so crazy. It's I believe it's actually Halloween, so maybe 3 days later. I forgot. I think it was actually either the day before Halloween or Halloween day. But I just remember working, and I remember one of my coworkers was busy with a customer, and he had somebody else on the lot out wanting to test drive, right? And mind you, I had seen this dude, Justin, earlier, right? Just randomly in the building, right? And I see him again, and then my coworker comes up to me, you see that dude out there? And it was Justin. He's like, you see him out there? And I'm like, yeah. Can you go take him on a test drive while I handle my customer, right? Because he's working with somebody else. And out of everybody, you know, he rocked with me. We both brothers, you know. So he like, yo, go help him out. I'm like, all right, bet. give me the keys. Boom. I give him the keys. And Justin looks at me oddly, right? He's looking at me, staring at me. I'm like, bro, what is this dude? Like, in my head, I'm just like, what is this dude doing? And for the dealership, what they do is they make us test drive first, switch seats with the customer. And yeah, that's how we would do our test drives. And I'm like, yo, I gotta drive first. And he's like, nah, I got it. And I'm like, all right, I never had that happen before. I'm like, all right, whatever you say, man. So I let him drive, right? So I didn't switch or anything. He's driving, right? First thing first, he asked me, how's your faith? And in my head, I'm like, okay. I've never got that question before as my first question with the person, right? So I'm like, yeah, my faith is good. He's like, what's your favorite script? And in my head, all I could think of is Isaiah 41:10, because that's what I had in my Bible. I mean, not my Bible, in my bio and everything. So I'm like, Isaiah 41:10. He's like, do you go to church? And he's asking me all these questions. And then I'm like, no, I don't go to church. I should be going to church and things like that. And then he just kept asking me different questions about God. And then he did something that like kind of like struck me a little bit. He's like, who's your dad? I'm like, who's my dad? What's that supposed to mean? Like, I'm confused. And I'm my pops passed away when I was young, so that kind of like really struck my nerve a little bit. I didn't take it offensive or anything. I'm just like, what do you mean? And he's like, who's your father? I'm like, my pops was, and then he's like, who was your mother? And I'm like, my mom is, my mom, and those questions like had me like mind blocked. I'm like, what is he getting at? And then he's driving, mind you, when he's asking these questions, he's driving. And then he starts driving on a highway. It was like a Kia Sportage or something. And he lets go of the steering wheel. Like, he literally lets his hand go of the steering wheel. And he's like, James. He says my name. And he's staring at me. He's staring deep into my eyes. He says, James, the eyes tell me everything. I can see everything with my eyes. And I can see you. I can see your eyes. I forgot exactly how it went, but he was just saying like he could tell a person by their eyes, and he could tell how much faith a person has with his eyes and things like that, and by the look of their eyes. So I'm like, okay, he's driving, no hands on the steering wheel, not even looking at the road for like 5 seconds straight. I'm like, I'm side-eyeing the road trying to make sure we ain't about to hit anything or crash while he's just looking at me. And I'm like, all right, bro. Yeah, for sure. And then he tells me that he used to work here. He used to work at the dealership. Mind you, I literally asked God for a sign, right? I asked God for a sign that week. And yeah, he's like, James, is this really what you want to do with your life? And in my head, I'm like, no, I really don't. And then I say it out loud. I'm like, nah, I really don't. He's like, do you know what these people did? Right? And I'm like, no. He's like, they made me, he said they made him, what's it called? He said they made him, there was this lady or whatnot. She was making like $500, $1,000. I don't know how much it was, but the lady couldn't afford the car, but they still had her, sign for the car. And, he felt like he just messed up this lady's financial situation. Right. And he was just telling me how he feels like, the business or whatnot didn't care about customers' financial being, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't really think nothing of it. But that was just his take. You know, I didn't see anything like that. You know, for everything I know, the business was great. The business was cool, but that was his opinion. You know, that's what he seen, and that's what happened from his perspective. And I'm like, okay, yeah. But in my head, there was a lot going on. And he's like, James, I'm gonna ask you one more time. And he's looking at me while I'm not paying attention to the road. He's like, are you sure this is what you want to do? And then everything started to click in my head. And it's almost like, wow. And we get back to the dealership after the test drive. And the dude's literally like, nah, I just came here. Right? He said he just came here. Right? He's like, because, you know, my coworker came by. He's like, how's the test drive? And he goes to talk to him. And then Justin's like, yeah, test drive's good. So, and my coworker, he was like, so are you going to buy it? Are you want to do paperwork, see what it look like? He's like, nah, I just want to drive. I just wanted to come here. So, well, no. He said something like he had to come here or something like that. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was like mind boggling. But he's like, yeah, I had to come here. And before we left the car, he's like, James, read James. He's like, James, I need you to read the book of James, right? So as soon as we get back, you know, coworker, he's like, yo, you know, what I just told you guys. And I go, right? I'm like, yo, I'm shaking like a mug. I'm like, what just happened? And I'm like going around to my coworkers. I'm like, this dude just did something to me. I think he hypnotized me or whatever. But like, they were looking at me crazy, and they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I think it was God. And like, what are you talking about right now? And then they were like, that dude's crazy. Like, based off the story I told them, they were like looking at him crazy, and then they banned him from the store, I guess, from what I told my coworker. They banned the Justin dude from a store based off of what I told him. And that's just to show, like, yo, it's not meant for everybody. It's only meant for you to see. When God gives you a message, it's only for you. It's not for everybody else, right? Because everybody else is going to think you're crazy for thinking that. You might think I'm crazy, but this was real. This actually happened to me. And, you know, I promise you, dude did not buy a car. He did not sit down with me afterwards. He literally walked off the lot, and he's like, have a good one, James. Read James. Read the book of James. And his name's Justin. I remember the name. I asked ChatGPT, like, what was this? ChatGPT doesn't have a soul, so it doesn't even know. I don't know why I asked ChatGPT, but yeah. And yeah, he's like, yeah. So after that, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And then I quit. The next day, I believe. It was the next day I quit because I had signed my client, right? So I'm like, oh, say less. I signed my client, and, you know, I just started making content, and we here now. And it was because of God. God told me that this wasn't aligned with you. This wasn't meant for you. You need to focus on something where you could create an impact, and that's what I want to do with this channel. Excuse me. And I want, oh, not the hat. I need a cut, y'all, so don't mind me. But yeah, it was crazy. It was actually mind-boggling. So, you know, I might not have what we call success now, but what I do have is a deeper understanding of what I'm brought to do. And now I understand my calling from simply just walking away and just, you know, asking God for some type of guidance and to show me what I should be doing, and just praying and just really like having conversations with God. And now especially now, I understand what's actually important and what's not important, you know. And I feel like throughout this journey, like, what I want to do is just inspire more you guys, right? Show you guys what's possible. Show you guys that whatever it is that you dream of, you can make it happen, right? And just show you guys you have to keep faith, right? Faith is so important. And, you know, ultimately, I want to just change lives and just play a big impact on people's lives and help people when they're in their darkest. You know, I know what it's like to be at your darkest. I know what it's like being afraid, not understanding where your next meal is gonna come from. Well, meal is crazy, but your next dollar coming from, you know. I know exactly how that feels, and you know, sometimes I'm still living it, you know, but it's not gonna be for long. And I want you guys to understand, like, the byproducts, the materialistic, like, if you're caught onto that and you're not caught onto changing lives and elevating people and helping people and really just showing people what can be done, and you know, then it's like tough, you know. I've noticed like how videos impact lives, right? Because I was impacted by a video, right? I wouldn't be thinking the way I think now if it wasn't for a YouTube video, right? But videos also keep people procrastinating. Videos also keep people in a loop because they're getting that dopamine. They get that hit, right? So now they feel like, oh, I already got it. No, you don't. You still got to work for it. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I want this channel to be. I want this to be the only channel you have to go to for any success tips, for any success, anything success related. Because when I really want this channel to show people and inspire people to take action and change people's lives, right? That is the goal, and that is what I am going to do with this channel. And it's crazy because I always wanted to be a YouTuber, right? And now that I'm really like actively like talking in front of my camera and all that, I'm starting to realize the fulfillment and what it's really about. It's not about the million subs, right? It's about just talking to one person, right? Communicating with you, whoever this is behind the screen, and letting them know, like, yo, I'm human. I relate to you. Like, we both relate to each other, you know? We go through shit, right? But it's about how we overcome the storms, how we overcome the bad shit that we went through. How do we turn that bad shit into positive shit? You get what I'm saying? It's so important to understand that, and I hope I can be the light, and I hope my videos inspire you to keep going. Even when you're at your darkest, I want you guys to be able to come to my videos even when you're at your darkest and still realize that there's hope, right? And you know, this is just one of many videos. I'm gonna do the talking head video, like these type of videos a little bit, but I really want to focus more so on like videos with other people, hearing other people's stories, sharing different things that people go through, and really just highlight the world and show the world. Because bro, this world is so beautiful. I promise you, this world is beautiful, right? And life is too short to not see the world. And I want to inspire y'all to go see the world. I want y'all to travel and explore and meet different cultures and really live life to the fullest. And I know in order for somebody to want to do something, they have to see it done, right? And that's where I have to come in and actually do it. I actually have to do the things, right? Because I could talk the talk, but if I'm not walking the walk, y'all not gonna move. Y'all not gonna want to take the action, right? So I know I have to do things in order to get, you know, my community to want to take the actions, right? And I want you guys to know, like, you're not alone. And every step of the way of this whole success process, you got it, right? And I want to be that channel that you can come watch, right? To just check in and realize that you got it, right? And I want you guys to see the world, and I want you guys to see other people and hear other stories, right? Because oftentimes we compare ourselves, and I want you to see, like, yo, there's somebody worse out there, or there might be somebody better out there, but they can teach you. You can learn from this mistake, that mistake, and you can just ultimately learn from other people's mistakes. You can hear their stories, and just talking about this shit get me so amped up, bro, because I figured it out now. I figured out what I want to do. I figured out what I am going to do, right? So yeah, let's do it. Make sure you guys sub, hit that like button, turn on those notification bells to be a part of our journey, right? Because this is us. This is me and my family, right? Y'all my family now, so peace.